Titanfall 2, the sequel to the game about pilots and, of course, Titans. A game with a tragic tale, but at the same time being a piece of art. Today, my viewers, I'll be talking about why Titanfall 2 is a timeless masterpiece. This review will be coming from somebody who already has 500 hours in the game and somebody who really loves movement-based games. So, without any further ado, get ready for Titanfall. Starting off with the campaign, which is, in my opinion, the greatest part of this game. It's absolutely phenomenal. You play as a militia rifleman, call sign Cooper, full name Jack Cooper. Your mission is to take out the IMC forces. Before jumping into the battle, you get some quick tips by Captain Lastimosa, such as wall running, double jumping and getting to know the arsenal of guns and ordnances. This is also the place where the gauntlet is located, a course for speed and agility to test your capacities. Captain Lastimosa tells you to call your Titan, but before being able to do so, the connection is broken. This is where the real story begins.
See a new planet today. Maybe even die on it. See you down there, rifleman. Good luck.
You land on an all-out battlefield, fighting against both human and non-human forces. After taking out the immediate threat, you get badly injured and Captain Lastimosa hides you from the IMC forces, sacrificing his life for you. You wake up to some very curious prowlers that want to make you the next meal. Captain Lastimosa scares them off luckily. He won't make it, so he decides to link his Titan, BT, the best boy in this game, to you, promoting you to a unofficial pilot.
Take care of him.
Before being able to go on your adventure, you need to gather a couple of batteries to power up BT. After retrieving these batteries and completing the nano link, you're on your way. I personally love the approach to the linking procedure. After the death of Captain Lastimosa, you have no time to grieve at all. You need to keep going, which leads to you getting to know BT throughout the story, discovering his personalities and forming a bond along the way. Your mission is to rendezvous with Major Anderson, but after finding him dead later on in the story, you're the only hope to save the militia and many planets too. Told you that'd be spoilers. Along the way you fight some of Cuban Blisk's missionaries. Who is Cuban Blisk? Cuban Blisk is the main bad of this game, an apex predator. He's also leader of the apex predators. Your first real threat is Kane. Kane is basically as crazy as there can be. Killing Kane leads to you getting the information that you need about General Motors' plans. Along the way you face more of these apex predators, but they'll come later. After our best boy BT is taken away from us, you need to head deep inside of Ash's facility to get him back, facing threats along the way. Ash lets you partake in some sort of test, but it backfires and you survive, making her, and mostly Cuban Blisk, pretty mad.
Dealing with him.
Stop getting caught up in your games.
Am I not allowed to enjoy myself while I work?
Not when your work suffers.
And oh boy, her work sure does suffer. After meeting back up with BT, you get to see Ash in person. And let's just say it doesn't really end up well for her. Your goal is to, whatever it takes, take back the Ark. An unstable source that manipulates both time but also space. This part of the campaign, as well as the wrist-mount device Major Anderson held, leads to such a cool atmosphere in my opinion. Hopping between time dimensions gives you a sense of freedom, but still being trapped in the present but also in the past. This was my favorite part of the campaign by far. I loved seeing what's here before me, but also what went wrong at this location. From a fully fledged Congress to a robot Stalker infestation attacking you when you're back in the present, due to you setting off a security protocol in the past. This is also the part of the campaign where you get to scan the Ark for the first time. completing Mayor Anderson's work. After helping some militia men that have been overrun by enemy specters, you have to retrieve a module to install into the satellite disk, so that you can restore the connection between you and the rest of the militia fleet. To be able to actually install the module, you need something called the Arc tool. After robbing a Marvin of its only task in life, and making him quite sad in the process, you retrieve the Arc tool. Now you're headed into a radioactive zone to turn the power back on, but you can't stay in there for too long, otherwise you'll be burnt to a crisp. After having successfully turned the power back on, you're on your way to retrieve the disk. There seems to be no way that you'll be getting over this huge gap that lies ahead. BT offers to curveball you to the other side, which you nervously accept.
25 meters. Projectile mass 89 kilograms. Trust me.
After successfully installing the module into the disk, all seems to be done, but the disk begins to rotate itself, leading to you seamlessly falling into your demise.
Got you.
Luckily, BT saves his last second. When you think you can finally relieve, Richter shows up, next Apex Predator on our list. Richter mans a Tone class Titan, with its core being a salvo core, which deals a load of damage when you're too close to him. I also thoroughly enjoyed this part of the campaign. It wasn't boring by any means, but it was a little bit slower than the rest of the campaign, which gave you a little time to breathe. Now we enter the last part of the campaign, doing whatever it takes to take back the Ark. Wait, didn't I forget to mention something? Oh yeah, the part where Sarah Biggs just kind of scolds you while you sit there.
Lastimosa linked you to a rifleman?
Yes, he had no other options.
Understood. We'll get you transferred to a fully qualified pilot.
Because we're just a rifleman. Okay, have it your way then. No, all jokes aside, there's no beef remaining, and you, along with more militia units, go and fight the RMC head on. But the ship carrying the Ark, along with Sloan, get away. You're now on a massive ship of your own, pursuing the Draconis, the ship carrying the Ark. But a new foe arrives. Viper, Master of the Skies. He shoots you, alongside BT, off of the ship. You luckily get caught last second. BT curseballs you onto the Malta, where you, along with the 6-4, a special militia unit, go and take over the ship. You have to use your data knife to steer the ship into position, but then Viper shows up again. Here's where you face your hardest foe yet.
It's here, pilot. The skies belong to me. Nowhere to run. Nowhere to hide.
You have to take out Viper while simultaneously taking out some other Titans too, which is harder than it sounds. Viper pilots a North Star type Titan, with its primary being a plasma railgun. His core also deals tremendous amounts of damage if you can't dodge it. You luckily take him out. But then Viper shows up again. I guess we're not the only people with plot armor in this game. Which leads to you falling from sky height onto the Malta, getting badly injured and also dazed in the process. All you can do is watch and hope that BT takes out Viper himself. But after BT takes out the hedge protecting Viper, you get one chance to save you, the militia, and many planets too. You take the shot. You might miss a couple of times just as I did, but you take out the Viper. BT is beaten badly in the process, but there's no time to worry about that right now. You need to get the Ark out of here. But you're stuck, unable to leave. BT mentions one famous protocol.
3. I will not lose another pilot. Brace for impact.
You wake up, dazed. You see Blisk and Sloan interrogating BT. When they notice you're awake, they tell BT a very simple thing.
If he doesn't open up, I will shoot you in the head.
BT has no choice but to open up. You need to take back the Ark as soon as possible. But Sloan ultimately destroys BT, leaving you to die. Now we enter the most fast-paced part of the campaign. You receive the Seer Kit. This consists of a smart pistol, which is basically aimbot, a data knife, and BT's eye, which holds all of his data. Then you just go ham. You kill every grunt and every robot in sight, which leads to you getting assigned a new Titan. But is it actually a new Titan? Turns out it's just BT in a new outfit. Then you get to Blisk and Sloan. Bliss mentions that they received the payment and they should go, but Sloan wants a piece of the pie. Too bad, because she isn't getting a piece of this pie. You make short work of her as BT lifts himself into the arc launcher, but the damage takes a toll. Blisk shows up again, handing you the Predator calling card, inviting you and acknowledging you as a real threat. You get up, get launched and accept your fate.
Protocol 3. Protect the pilot.
BT, what are you doing?
Trust me.
BT launches you as the arc implodes, sending debris flying everywhere, and you having to be picked up. The end. I can talk about all the things why I think the campaign alone deserves a video, which you're partially watching right now, so I guess I got my will. But for real, this campaign is so beautiful. You jump in not expecting much. Due to there being trained pilots and massive titans by your side, you think that this will all be a breeze. But no, you get overrun quickly and all of those feelings of safety are ripped away from you without having any time to respond. The campaign had a great plot in my opinion. It wasn't anything like Horizon Zero Dawn, but not every game has to have the most complex plot. As long as it tells a compelling story and if it drags you into its world. Which for me it certainly did. The campaign was never too slow. I was always engaged. There was always something new to find, in every nook and every cranny, be it a hidden gun somewhere, or it being a sleeping pod full of deceased personnel. It was great, to say the least. And the growing companionship between you and BT. First off, you hardly get any time to get used to the idea of being a pilot. You ask BT questions along the way, noticing he's more than just a robot. He has a unique personality, he's funny without knowing it, and he'll do anything to protect his pilot. The way the Apex Predators are laid out is great too. After beating Kane, you know there is a group called the Apex Predators, but how many are in it and how many will we face? Or heck, will we even face them? This keeps you on the edge of your seat, never knowing if the next Apex Predator is just around the corner. And oh boy, the cutscenes. They are short, but they tell a lot about the Predator's personality. Kane being crazy as is, Ash noticing your worth and being harder to fight you, Richter thinking you're nothing compared to him, Viper being cocky but has the means to back it up, Sloan wanting to take you on without having to be paid, tells you that she just enjoys beating pilots and titans mercilessly, and Blisk knowing when enough is enough, leaving you the Apex Predator calling card. Without seeing the Predators on screen for too long, you get to know their unique personalities, which helps the game tremendously. Moving on to the next reason why I think Titanfall 2 is a masterpiece. This being the movement aspect of the game. What types of movement am I talking about? The main part of Titanfall's movement relies on the famously known wall run. Even after a lot of games have been released after Titanfall 2, in my opinion, Titanfall 2 still has the best wall running. Wall running allows you to run on walls and to hit sick clips such as these. But we also have the double jump, good for getting out of situations or gaining more momentum, as well as a couple of abilities that range from flinging you into the fight to stimming you out of the fight, depending on which playstyle works for you. The movement in Titanfall 2 is amazing. There are numerous ways to keep your momentum going, such as wall running, getting it fast and sliding. Another great movement tech is called bunny hopping. Bunny hopping is as much as a feature as it's some sort of a bug. Bunny hopping allows you to keep all the momentum going. Bunny hopping adds a lot to the movement, but also to Titanfall 2 as a whole. This is because it's pretty versatile to use. Imagine a pilot, having gone through years of training, running through the battlefield in a straight line without being able to move an inch. It would just be a glorified targeting range. That's why I firmly believe that the movement in Titanfall is as important to the game as money is to EA. Besides having abilities ranging from the stims to the grapples, there are also more strategic abilities, such as the Phase Pilot, Cloak Pilot, the Pulse Blade Pilot, the AWOL Pilot, and the
Sorry, did I
Holopilot.
confuse you?
The latter reminds me of a certain legend, and many more do too actually. If you want me to go in depth into all of these abilities, I'd say that they're all pretty fun, as long as you know how to use them correctly, that is. Because when I use the Holopilot, I basically become the Holo, and I don't mean that in a good way. As an extra, you're also able to choose out of different boosts when you reach a certain threshold in a multiplayer game. 12 total ones to choose from. If you want your Titan to survive a little bit longer, the barrier backup might be your go-to. If you want to go into a killing spree, just as Kane in the campaign did, the Pilot Sentry might be for you. Or if you want to have the aim of gods with an extra little bonus of getting toxicity from chat, then the Smart Pistol might be your go-to. The Titans also have a great number of customizations. In the campaign, this was limited to whatever upgrade you choose, but in the multiplayer there's a whole arsenal of perks and abilities to choose from. Each Titan class having one that suits, each having a unique playstyle to keep you engaged. But that's not even all the customization Titanfall 2 offers. Besides being able to customize your character to match how you want them to look, you can also respawn your character. And respawning a character is basically taking away everything that you've had except for purchased items, but you gain the effect of leveling up more frequently and also getting some cool cosmetics in the process. It even provides a cool backstory of why you might want to respawn your character. We've already kind of crossed into the multiplayer side of Titanfall 2, but we haven't discussed which type of modes there actually are. The main mode in Titanfall 2 is called Mixtape. Mixtape is basically a collection of all the playable modes that the multiplayer has to offer, excluding a couple of modes such as a PvE mode, but also a weekly changing mode. Mixtape has 9 modes, ranging all the way from Capture the Flag to Livefire. Livefire is basically Capture the Flag, but with the extra bonus if you kill the entire enemy team, you also get the win. There are also certain locked modes, such as Pilot v Pilot, Titan Brawl and Last Titan Standing. What do I mean by these locked modes? It basically means that you have to follow some strict rules. If you're playing Titan Brawl and you're the last Titan standing and you die, and even if you have some pilots, then you still lose, because the game is you have to at least have one Titan standing. All these different kinds of modes make the game really replayable. The PvE mode is also not something you just toss to the side. You, along with 3 other pilots, fight against hordes of incoming IMC forces, with your goal being to protect the Harvester from getting destroyed by these IMC forces. You can choose out of 4 difficulties, with the hardest one being Master. These IMC forces consist of enemies that you've also fought in the campaign, such as Grunts, Spectres and certain types of Titans, but there are also some, like the Nuke Titan, that are new to this roster. All in all, the multiplayer is a great addition to Titanfall 2. If you don't want to try the campaign again, maybe on Master mode, then you can always hop into a multiplayer game. If you only have time for like a couple of games, hop into it and you won't regret it. The only real downside I've experienced with multiplayer is that in certain modes, where both pilots and Titans are permitted, that being a pilot is sometimes just a death sentence. Sadly though, that isn't the only downside Titanfall 2 has had in the last couple of years. Going from being neglected by the game's developers, Respawn Entertainment, probably forced by EA, and struggling with constant DDoS attacks that plagued the game. Do you want to join a game of attrition? Too bad, perhaps wait 15 minutes for a lobby to open up, and when it finally opens, it gets cancelled due to some sweaty jobless hacker that plagues the game for years. The DDoSing situation got so bad at a certain point that the Titanfall 2 community, mainly Bob with some others, created a custom client of their own, the Northstar client, which besides freeing the game of the DDoS attacks, had the extra bonus of making custom games of your own, also being able to join custom games some other people made too. But finally, after many years in the dark, Titanfall 2 was freed from the DDoS attacks, which led to the already dwindling player base starting to rise again. There was new hope for Titanfall. Some deals like the $3 price tag on Steam helped as well. Now, at the time of writing this review, which is in the month of September, Titanfall has been getting some random but well appreciated updates, such as the queue times taking way less long and there seemingly being no more DDoS at all. There are also new game modes in rotation, and certain out-of-bounds spots have been patched by the developers. After all this time of being forgotten by the world and its developers, is there still some hope for Titanfall 2? Only time will tell. But for now, thank you for watching this video. If you've enjoyed this video, which I can take as a yes, because well, you're still watching it right now, or you forgot that you had it on in the background, it would mean the world to me if you drop a like and maybe also a subscription. This was mostly a passion project for me, but I might have underestimated how much time it would take to actually edit all of this. I've generally put a lot of my time into this video, so thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye!